The month of June is a few days old, and things remain tight in the American League East. While the Yankees serve as reigning division champions, the Rays present one of the chief threats to knock them from their throne. Both teams have dealt with hardships, adjusting to key injuries and fighting through rough patches during the peaks and valleys of a long baseball season. Tonight, the Bronx Bombers return home from a 9-game road trip. Not only must they contend with Tampa Bay's talented pitchers and its unique style of play, but an old friend is back in New York wearing the colors of the competition. Two of the American League's best square off. Yankees, Rays, the first of three. Next on Yes. Big-time series here in the Bronx. Big-time race in the American League East. The Rays are on top. The Orioles a game behind the Yankees. Just a game and a half and one in the loss column. Separating first from last, just 3 games. Pretty close indeed, as tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the first of 3 from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn and John Flaherty. Michael K. Yankees enjoyed an off day yesterday, and why not? They had a long road trip. And, John, anytime you could get a West Coast swing out of the way and come back 6-3, that's a good road trip. You go on the road for 9 games, you come back with a winning record, an impressive 6-3 record. You have to feel good about it. 276 batting average, 15 home runs. They pitch well, 3.78. That 202 batting average with runners in scoring position, that is still a problem. Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup, and it's a good matchup. You've got big game James Shields, 6-3, 3.95. Andy Pettitte goes for the Yankees 2-2 with a 3.49. And David, last time out, home runs were a problem for Andy. Yeah, and that probably bothers Andy Pettitte more than anything at this point in his career, is keeping the ball in the ballpark. But he probably picked the wrong time to face the Angels. It's just a matter of time before the Angels get it going, and Andy Pettitte was the victim of that. And early, pretty good. He had that slider going, and those big home run hitters are chasing out of the zone, and then the next thing you know, you get it up in the zone a little bit. You got to double down the line, and it's just a matter of time before this big fella gets it going, and he has, and he will continue to keep it going, and Andy Pettitte found that out, and that's a bomb into the bullpen. And this is the thing, when Andy gets that breaking ball up, look at his reaction. His head goes down. He almost immediately knows the minute the ball left his hand that wasn't where he was trying to throw it, and it ended up in the seats. And he's got a pretty good opposite matchup, James Shields, a big-time pitcher, but against the Yankees, he has not had some success. And if you look at it, some of the big Yankees have had success. We'll detail that next on Yes. Great Cano, a 403 hitter. Rodriguez with 3 home runs, and he's 13 for 43. Derek Jeter over 322 for 73. That could be part of the reason why they have pretty good lifetime numbers as a team against the Rays right-handed. Well, Andy Pettitte has good numbers against the Tampa Bay Rays in his career as well. He's been good since he came back. Let's see how he does tonight. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Pro, and by Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Crowd filing into Yankee Stadium. Hideki Matsui is here. That's a fan. Brings a Matsui stand-up with a credential around his head as well. So that is important. He's got a Yomiuri Giants hat, and Matsui is back. He's batting cleanup for the Rays, and he's at Yankee Stadium as a visitor. Let's take a look at the entire Rays starting lineup before we start the game. And as Desmond Jennings in left just came off the DL, B.J. Upton in center, Ben Zobrist in second base will hit third. Cleaning up right fielder Hideki Matsui. Sean Rodriguez at third base will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing first base, Carlos Pena. Luke Scott, the DH, hit seventh. The number 8 hitter is the catcher, Jose Molina. And Elliot Johnson at shortstop will bat ninth. Andy Pettitte is ready. So is Jennings. Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch swung on and lofted out to right field. Nick Swisher is there. One pitch, one out.
Well, you see Andy Pettitte waste no time. He's ready to throw that first pitch, and Jennings is ready to swing it. And this will be Andy's 5th start on the year, 2-2 and a 3.49 ERA. The 5 walks against 22 strikeouts, a pretty good ratio. And the scouter report, he's good against the Rays, 16-6 lifetime. He's great against the AL East. He's 84-37 lifetime. And Juan Moore, if he gets a win tonight, Flash, he will tie Juan Marichal on the all-time wins leaders list. He'll be 51st all-time with 243.
Swing and a miss.
And that was Juan Moore, not John Moore.
You called it before, David. Andy working fast. Good rhythm early on. B.J. Upton stepping out, taking his time.
The Rays don't hit too much. They were 2-4 on their homestand. They had great pitching on that homestand, 2.67 ERA, but as a team they hit 165.
They have a little bit of power. They will steal some bases, but their rotation and the pitching definitely their strength. And the defense hasn't been exactly stellar this year either for the Rays.
And that's always been a strength of theirs. The 2-2. They average 49 unearned runs a game, a year over the last 3 years. That's the low in the major leagues. They've allowed 29 unearned runs already, which is the second most in the majors. Swing and a miss. Speaking of defense, we'll take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Ibanez, Granderson, and Swisher left to right in the outfield. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. Russell Martin behind the plate. Pettitte is on the mound. So 2 down, and that'll bring up Ben Zobrist. And a strike.
Well, you think back to Andy's last start against the Angels, threw the ball pretty well in that game. 2 mistakes cost them 3 runs. A couple of home runs, one to Pujols, one to Trumbo.
That one is looped into right field. Swisher is there in a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettitte and the Yankees. So it's the Rays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat against James Shields. Rodriguez, the third baseman, hits third. Cleaning up, second baseman Robinson Cano. Mark Teixeira's at first base, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, Raul Ibanez. Nick Swisher's in right field, he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and DHing, Eric Chavez. And Russell Martin will catch and bat ninth.
We'll look at James Shields, the old guy on the staff. He's now 30 years old. On the year, this will be his 12th start, 6-3. 73 innings, 22 walks, 74 strikeouts. The strikeouts are up. And the scouting report, a big change in his strategy this year. He is now a groundhog, 2.62 ground outs to every air out. And compared to last year, he was just 1.09. That's the highest rate in the American League. Really getting the ball on the ground. He's a changeup master. It's his best pitch. He throws it more than anybody else in the American League. Over 30% of the time, you're going to see a changeup. And remember CG's last year, complete games for James Shield. He had 11. Not so this year. He hasn't had one yet. And, this is his 12th start. So a couple of changes. He's getting more ground balls, but he's not getting any complete games as of yet.
Here's Derek Jeter, second in the major leagues with 75 hits. Who's first? His former teammate, Melky Cabrera. Having an unbelievable year with the San Francisco Giants. Missed outside. On the 9-game road trip, Derek had 11 hits and 39 at-bats. Grounded to short. Elliott Johnson. One away. Take a look at the Rays defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. In the outfield, Jennings, Upton, and Matsui. Left to right, Matsui has not been a good defensive player for a while. Be interesting to watch him out there. Infield, Sean Rodriguez, Elliott Johnson, Ben Zobrist, and Gold Glove winning Carlos Pena at first. Jose Molina is behind the plate. James Shields is on the mound. Here's Granderson. 1-0. Granderson, 14 hits and 39 at-bats on the Yankee road trip.
Look at Shields with that 3.93 ERA coming into this game. Had a 2.82 last year. That's how good his year was. And David, I remember reading, he said his direction down the hill was so much better last year. Led to a lot of strikes, a lot of complete games. And you see the numbers for Granderson, not very good. Obviously a different year. Slower start.
Kind of see him feeling for his mechanics out there. It's a great point, Flash. He's much more deliberate out there, and he seems to be just kind of leaking, flying open with that lead shoulder just a bit compared to years past.
Even that rotation that we saw from the side right there, kind of rotating back towards second base. He eliminated some extra movement last year, and it worked so well.
There's a base hit through the shift. Single for Granderson, who coming into that at-bat just had 4 hits and 49 at-bats against Shields.
That's the changeup that just sits right there. Granderson staying back on it. Shields' best pitch. We told you he throws that more than any other pitch in his repertoire. Yankee hitters have to be keying on that pitch today.
The Yankees will be excited if it ends up in the zone like it did right there to Granderson. Up with not a lot of finish. That's not a typical Shields changeup.
Here's Alex. Pitch inside, 1-0.
Alex, good numbers against Shield. 302 with 3 home runs. 2 home runs in Detroit, 1 on a slider, and the other turned around a Verlander fastball. Maybe good signs for him coming into this homestand.
Last 12 games, Alex hitting .327 with 4 home runs and 7 ribbies, 16 hits and 49 at-bats.
Shields with an exceptionally quick pickoff move, too, for a right-handed pitcher.
Two and 1.
In fact, both pitchers tonight, Andy Pettit as well, are very good at picking runners off of first base.
begins a 6-game homestand for the Yankees. 3 games against Tampa Bay, and then interleague play begins, and the New York Mets come in for 3 starting on Friday night. That one gets away from Molina, and it allows Granderson to move to second. Let's look at the game time weather now. It's presented by Bigelow Tea. 63 degrees, humidity is 60%. The wind is 6 miles per hour, and the forecast is for mostly cloudy skies.
A little break right there for the Yankees. Molina, one of the best defensive catchers in the league, kind of tried to backhand that changeup, did not attempt to block it with his chest protector, and the Yankees get a little break in the first inning. We'll see if they can capitalize. Runner in scoring position has been a common theme all year.
And Alex walks. Cano on the road trip, 8 hits and 39 at bats. His average at 284. And he has not had much success in these situations with runners in scoring position. He has great success, though, against Shields. Off of Shields, and everybody is safe.
Well, those numbers for Robinson Cano against Shields will now go up. An infield base hit. Shields looking for a double play. Ground ball right back to him. Can't come up with it with a glove. If he comes up with that ball, it's probably a double play to end the inning, but he doesn't. Assuming that's an infield hit.
So the Yankees have the bases loaded for Mark Teixeira. Team hitting 158 this year with the bases loaded.
And the Yankees, all the hitters, they know about the numbers. They've been asked about them. They have to talk about it. You know Mark Teixeira walking up to the plate. It's on the back of his mind.
And what a difference a season makes. Look what they did last year and the year before. There's that change. 0-2. Teixeira starting to turn his season around. On the road trip, he was 13 for 35 with a couple of homers and 10 runs batted in. Madden shifting against Teixeira with 3 infielders on the right side. The 0-2. 1-2.
Well, the changeup is going to be a topic of discussion all night with Shields. Threw a good one for the second strike on Mark Teixeira and then drop one down in the dirt trying to get a swing and a miss, but he can throw a changeup off of his change.
Strike 3. Teixeira down looking.
Teixeira doesn't like it. Molina's setting up a way. Got a little bit of a cut on that little backdoor cutter. He got the plate. The question was whether it was high enough. Teixeira thinks not. His opinion doesn't really matter, though.
Yeah, it's borderline down, but I tell you, anytime you face Shields, you're going to have that changeup in the back of your mind. He'll be able to sneak some fastballs like that for strike 3 if he can locate there.
Home plate umpire Dana DeMuth punched him out. He's the crew chief tonight. And that's going to bring up Ibanez with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Molina wants to talk with Shields.
Dana Demuth's usually a pretty fair umpire. He's a crew chief. He's been around a long time. This is the 6th time that James Shields has had him behind the plate calling balls and strikes. 2-0 with a 4.31 ERA with Dana Demuth calling balls and strikes. I like to look at those things flash.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm sure
if they mean.
do.
I don't know if they mean anything, but sometimes they do.
Well, 2-0 sounds good. The ERA a little high for Shields.
He has 2 hits against Shields. Both of them left the ballpark. Molina lost it for a moment, but it was right there.
Very choppy first inning with Molina and Shields on the mound. A lot of stepping off. Can't get on the same page. Huge pitch here. 1-0. 2 outs in the first inning and the bases loaded.
And another conference. Yankees are right there, a game and a half out of first place, but look at these rankings this season. Runners on base, they're hitting .249. That's 10th in the American League. Scoring position, they're last. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs, they're 12th. Bases loaded, they're 13th. Only the Tigers are worse. And they're still getting it done. 5 games over 500. The 1-0. 2-0.
An interesting pitch right here. We talk about Shields and his changeup. Does he have enough guts to throw it 2-0 with the bases loaded in the first inning? He does.
You can see, as Flash said, he's got a couple of different variety of changeups. That's more the power changeup at 87 miles an hour. His fastball is usually in the low 90s, 91, 92 miles an hour.
Now 3-1.
David, there are pitchers in this count would say, you know, here you go. Here's my fastball. I'm going to take my chances. Other guys would say, I'll give up 1 run instead of 4. An interesting pitch selection here.
3-1. Right at the shortstop. And Elliott Johnson throws it past Pena. Granderson scores. Rodriguez scores. Moving to third is Cano, and the Yankees get a break. We told you that the Rays have not been as good defensively this year, and you see right there an error by Elliott Johnson allows 2 runs to score when Shields had worked out of the inning.
Well, Joe Madden shifting on Ibanez up the middle with Johnson, and it pays off because he's right there. A easy routine play, just short arms the ball across the diamond, and Pena can't come up with it. And that is a gift right there. And Shields, who made the pitch when he needed to, gets a ground ball, a hard ground ball. The Rays booted around a little bit, and the Yankees are on the board. And we'll see how Shields reacts. He thought he made the pitch when he had to. We'll see if he can continue here.
First and third now with 2 outs. Nick Swisher at the plate. 1-0.
Backbreaker for Shields, boy, and, you know, it pushes his pitch count up as well. The 23rd pitch of the inning coming up, or 24th rather.
2-0.
I always worry, David, when there's like a letdown. You know, you almost want to go out and pump up your pitcher again and say, come on, let's go. You got to kick it in gear. You made your pitch. You thought you're out of the inning.
Well, that's something we've seen out of Nick Swisher this year. Much more aggressive. 2-0 counts in the past, he's usually eyeballing that pitch. He had one thing in mind on that 2-0 fastball, to try to launch it out of here.
Strike two. Nick Swisher thought it was outside.
That changeup, Molina framing it well. We'll get the overhead look here. Looked like it ran off the plate just a bit.
You want that, David, right?
Yeah, but Molina makes those look so good too back there.
2-2. Served down the left field line, but it slices into the seats foul. Long bottom of the first for Andy Pettit, but he'll take it as the Yankees giving him some runs.
See that, we mentioned, you see Andy stretching out, trying to keep it going. It's nice to see a veteran umpire you can talk to a little bit. Swisher's had some conversations. There's a way you can do it. Molina working him back there as well. A veteran umpire who's very approachable, Dana DeMuth.
Strike three. Swisher down looking. Well, the Yankees get on the board, and then they do it thanks to a big error by Elliott Johnson. 2 unearned runs. So at the end of one, Yankees lead 2-0, and Matsui will lead off the second for the Rays.
And I loved having the opportunity to manage. I just don't want to see him do much these next 3 days.
All the Yankees like Matsui, and so do the fans, as he gets a warm hand as he comes up to the plate. The MVP of the 2009 World Series. And he left as a free agent. And here he is with the Tampa Bay Rays, so he'll lead off.
Michael, he's one of those guys, when you see him, you smile. I mean, he just does it the right way. Great teammate. Not a lot of fanfare. He always wanted him up in a big spot.
Prior to the game, Yankees greeted him with some hugs, hellos. One, 2-1. Since leaving the Yankees in 15 games, he had 4 home runs against the Yanks.
He's always had a flair for the dramatic.
Nub foul.
Yeah, Matsui really left on the scrap heap this winter. Wasn't even invited to anybody's spring training. but kept himself in shape, and the Rays came calling, and here he is. And one of the reasons is that right there, as you see the the 09 World Series. What a huge part of that World Series he was for the Yankees.
What a game 6, the clincher, 6 ribbies in that game. 2-2. Tapped out to Jeter. Matsui running hard and well down the line. First out of the second. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Sean Rodriguez. And the pitch is high.
Rodriguez playing third base tonight. The Rays waiting for Evan Longoria, their all-star third baseman, to come back. Obviously a huge loss in the middle of their lineup. Also a stellar defender.
Longoria's been out since May 1st, partial tear of the left hamstring. That's 31 games he's been out. The Rays have held their own. They're 16-15 since he's left. But lately their third baseman has struggled offensively, 1 for 25. And that's over the last 8 games.
Longoria was out on the field taking ground balls. Looked pretty good. Looked pretty close to coming back.
To get an idea of what a good job, there's Evan, Joe Maddon has done with this team. 3 of their big stars are Longoria, Jennings, and B.J. Upton. Tipped into the glove of Martin. Well, those 3 have been in the same lineup only 8 times this year. And the team is 7-1 in those games. But injuries have kept them apart, but still they're in first place. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. Said Alan Porter.
You look up and down this lineup without Longoria in there in the middle, it just doesn't scare you. Upton hitting second, Zobrist third, Matsui, who in the past had the flair for the dramatic, and then Rodriguez hitting fifth. This is the guy who's got to pick it up a little bit with the batting average. Still has the 8 home runs, which is respectable. Go through this lineup, David, looking to navigate it. It doesn't really scare you.
No, and they really try to push the system, with stolen bases and base running and trying to take chances on the base pass. The interesting matchup. The Rays came in second in the American League with 45 stolen bases, and of course Andy Pettitte, the most pickoffs, 99 since the pickoffs became a stat in the mid-70s, I believe. The Rays are going to try to go first to third. They're going to really push the system on the base pass. They make the most outs on the bases, and they take the most extra bases.
And that's been what they have done. They've led the American League in stolen bases the last 4 years, so trying to make it 5 in a row. And it's hard not to give this guy credit. He might be a bit unorthodox, but what a manager he is. He squeezes every last ounce out of this roster. He does some job.
It seems like every spring training you look at the Rays and their roster and you say, well, they can't do it this year. There's no way they can do it this year. That young rotation with those arms, that man right there finds a way to keep them in games, manufacture a few runs, win some close ball games.
Is what they've done under Joe Maddon. People forget when he got here, they were the darlings of the basement, and they would just expect it to be there all the time. But he changed the culture, and he changed the way people think about them. They are a gritty, hard-playing team. And he waited a long time for a shot. Spent about 30 years in the Angels organization without a big league job. Tampa Bay finally called. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Sean Rodriguez.
Give Rodriguez some credit here. He gets a great jump off of Andy Pettitte. Third stolen base on the year. Usually don't see a huge jump like that off of Andy. Martin gets rid of it in pretty good shape. A little short hop. Nice play by Derek to keep it in front. Yes, Mo, you see that left hand get in there for his third stolen base, but a nice jump. Good read by Rodriguez. Michael, you were talking about Madden. I asked around today, and you see 11 straight seasons with 100+ stolen bases. And I asked about Joe Madden, and they were just talking about him, saying he's a little different personality-wise, but he is not afraid to let his players express their personality.
Pena down on strikes, 2 away.
It's the most out of each individual, lets them be themselves. Basically, I was told if you can't play for Joe Madden, you're going to have a tough time playing anywhere, because he just lets you go out there and do your thing and trust you.
B.J. Upton's been here all of the years with Madden, and before that as well. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. That'll be an interesting decision for them. In all likelihood, they will not be able to keep him at the price he will command. And there's a strike to Luke Scott.
Luke Scott, the average down, but the production up. 9 homers, 35 ribbies.
0-2.
Great low ball hitter, especially down and in. You can beat him above the hands, above the belt, or down and away, which Andy Pettit is trying to exploit. You make a mistake down in, down middle, he can hit it a long way.
Runner at second. Yankees lead 2-0. We're in the top of the second inning. An 0-2 count on Scott. Martin stays with it.
Yeah, the interesting dilemma for Joe Madden, as we mentioned, with Hideki Matsui in the fold, and now Desmond Jennings back off of the DL, is finding at-bats for Hideki Matsui with Luke Scott, obviously the DH, or probably the mainstay DH for them. So Joe Madden was joking and asking if Matsui could play third base while Evan Longoria is out. It'll be interesting to see how Madden juggles it and keeps Matsui a part of that lineup.
Swing and a miss. So Andy strikes out Pena and strikes out Scott. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second. Chavez leads off. The tougher division. And here are your choices. Is it the AL East or the NL East? All 10 teams over 500 as we enter play today. You can text your vote to 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. Philadelphia Phillies in last place in the NL East at 28-28. And in the AL East, Boston and Toronto at 28-26, tied for last. Boston made a little bit of a shocking move today, sending down Daniel Bard to their AAA affiliate.
Now, did they send him down to continue working as a starter?
Have not heard that. They have a lot of off days, and you see what Bard's done. 5-6, 5.24, and they can get by with only 4 starters, but then Matsuzaka's due to come back, so in all likelihood, Bard's going to come back out of the bullpen as Chavez flies out to center. Let's check out tonight's MetLife stat of the day. At 6-0, the Yankees are the only Major League Baseball team that is undefeated this season in games following off days. So that'll get you 18-0 right there. They're 18 off days during the season.
You know, that always used to be a problem for the Yankees, too. A few years ago, I remember days off, they would come back a little bit sluggish, not this year. And even around the batting cage today, you could tell that day off helped. Everybody had a lot of energy. Looking forward to this series against first place club.
A lot of the Yankees, excuse me, Michael, we're out early too, taking extra BP after the off day.
You know, one of the surprises in the East, the Orioles. And speaking of the birds, John, I was shocked to find out that a bird relieved itself on your suit jacket while you're on the field.
Well, it wasn't just while I was on the field. I was doing an interview with Chris Sheeran during our batting practice show. And I actually felt something on my back, and I just assumed it was one of the players throwing a piece of gum or something. You know, they like to have those immature fun times down there. And found out it was a bird.
The 2-2. How's the jacket now?
It's in tough shape. It doesn't smell real good either. But, you know, I should have known I was in trouble because David Price, the very talented left-handed pitcher for the Rays, who I don't know at all, and I kind of sensed he was behind my back kind of checking something out, and sure enough that's what he was looking at. And I saw in the interview he took a picture of it.
Line drive, a base hit to left field. I've always wondered why people say that's good luck. I guess it's good luck for your dry cleaner.
Well, we'll find out, right?
That's right. Russell Martin had a very good road trip, 6 hits and 19 at bats, so he's starting to come around offensively. And he has a single here to lead off, or with 1 out in the second.
Not just any bird. That's a boogie down Bronx bird, too. You know. A little different breed.
With that hit, Russell now is off the interstate, and the players say that when you're hitting 1-something. This is actually what John's talking about. There's David Price looking.
And then he came back, and I saw him taking a picture. Probably end up on Twitter somewhere. Thanks, David.
He seems shocked, too, like he'd never seen something like, well, I guess in the Dome it doesn't happen in St. Pete. Oh, it was somebody else who came to take the picture.
Like a photo bomb. Trying to do an interview.
Now, was that being taped, John, or was that live?
No, that was being taped. Even, you know, flinch. You just keep going.
Pro.
Professional.
Pro.
Thanks for bringing that up.
You know, I wouldn't even have known about it, but I was walking by, you know, a broadcast truck, and they had a team of about 6 people trying to figure out how to get that stain out of your jacket.
They couldn't figure it out. Poor Agnes tried. Thank you, Agnes. Appreciate it. But that jacket is in the hallway because it would stink up this booth right now.
Jeter looks down at Rob Thompson, seeing if anything is on. Yankees lead 2-0, 2 unearned runs. in the first inning. A throwing error by Elliott Johnson with the bases loaded. Would have been the final out. Grounded to third. Nice play by Rodriguez. Goes the second one on to first. A pretty around-the-horn double play. Sean Rodriguez backhanded it and fired a strike to Zobrist. On to Pena for the final out. We go to the bottom of the, checked at the top of the third inning. Jose Molina will lead off after this 5-4-3 inning-ending double play.
Does look guilty.
He's out of there. Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 Yanks. Jose Molina will lead it off. On Sunday he turned 37. Again, the chance is the predominant catcher, but not hitting, and that was a big concern when this Rays team was put together. Jose really hasn't been an everyday catcher. He's a great defender, but how would he be playing the majority of the games? Count 1-1.
Yeah, there's a big difference when you're a backup and you play once a week, maybe twice a week, and you can ambush a pitcher and try to hunt a fastball. You're playing every day. It's a little different. Scouting reports, fatigue sets in a little bit. Still very valuable in what he does behind the plate.
But the Rays felt that this is a team that's built around pitching, and they wanted a great receiver, and he is certainly that. They played 56 games, including tonight, and tonight is his 38th game. So they're not overdoing it with him, but he's catching more than Jose Lobaton, who's the other catcher. The 1-2. His brother, who won a championship with the Cardinals last year, has now turned into an offensive force. He's become a really, really tough hitter for the Cardinals. And the 2-2 just outside. The Rays have done well against the teams in the East. They're 17-12. Swing and a miss. Fourth strikeout for Pettit. Rays just had a 6-game homestand. They were 2-4. They got swept by the White Sox, who were really surprising everybody in baseball, and then they took 2 out of 3 from the Orioles.
A couple of resurgent players on the White Sox this year. Adam Dunn really coming back from an awful year last year, and of course Jake Peavy, one of the best starters in the league right now.
Speaking of managers doing a good job, Robin Ventura, first year ever managed before. Can't be that easy.
Not only had he never managed, but they really plucked him off his deck in Malibu. He was living in Malibu, have a beautiful home overlooking the ocean, and Kenny Williams called him and said, "What do you think about managing?" Because I really haven't thought about it.
One thing's for certain for Kenny Williams, the GM for the White Sox, his life's a little easier with Ozzie Guillen in Miami right now. Even though Ozzie had his highs and his lows, certainly got him a championship over there in Chicago as well.
Swing and a miss. Elliott Johnson down on strikes. 4 strikeouts in a row for Andy, and 5 in the game. Let's check out the Home Depot hitter scouting report on Desmond Jennings.
Well, Desmond Jennings back from the left knee sprain. His first game activated tonight, and he is a lineup changer. With him in the lineup, they average 4.68 runs a game. Without him, 3.81. So almost a run difference with him in the lineup. And the speed game, a big part of his game. 8 stolen bases, and he's missed 25 games. So the Rays very happy to see him back in the lineup.
The roster move they made, they sent down outfielder Rich Thompson to make room for Desmond Jennings, who only played 4 games in rehab, 1 in A-ball and 3 in AAA. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Andy has struck out the side and retired the last 5 Rays on strikeouts. Here's how he did it this inning. Jose Molina, swing and a miss. Elliott Johnson, swing and a miss. Brandon Jennings, swing and a miss. Curtis Granderson leads off. Yankees take on the Braves in an interleague matchup. The first 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Yankees water bottle courtesy of Delta Airlines. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Curtis Granderson takes a strike from James Shields. Yankees lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. Lincoln scoreboard 2-0. Swing and a miss.
Shields looking for a quick inning with that pitch count, which is elevated early on. Obviously, the Yankees want to keep making him work a little bit.
Ground ball to third. That's the third baseman there. And Granderson is out. Scored that one 5-3 on the shift.
And for the next couple of days, we're going to see some strange shifts. Joe Matt not afraid to do some things differently defensively. Uses all of that information on scouting report and tendencies, ground balls, fly balls.
Alex Rodriguez walked and scored in the first inning. On one. And a strike, 0-2.
See Carlos Pena at first base, really shifting towards second. A lot of ground for him to cover in order to get to first base. That's pretty much as far as you can go if you're a first baseman and be able to get back to the bag on a ground ball.
Fly ball, right field. Matsui puts it away for the second out. Follow the Yankees with the MLB.com at-bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Here's Robinson Cano. He singled off the glove of James Shields in the first inning. Could have been an inning-ending double play, but it loaded the bases. No strike. We would all like to send out our best wishes and hopes for a speedy recovery to Hall of Famer Tommy Lasorda, who had a mild heart attack while at the MLB draft yesterday. He's resting in a New York hospital, and he should be, according to the Dodgers, released sometime tomorrow. So get well soon, Tommy. Popped up. Pena will make the play in a 1-2-3 inning as the Yankees go down in order. Andy Pettitte has struck out 5 Rays in a row. Can he keep that streak going? 5 straight on strikeouts. B.J. Upton is next as he leads off the 4th inning. Yankees lead this one 2-0. Andy has 6 strikeouts for the game. 1 in the first inning, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. Andy's career high, if you're wondering, is 12 strikeouts in one game. He's had 9 strikeouts in a game this year. Jeter could not handle it. Hit hard on the glove side, and Upton will reach. Why don't we take a look at the K by K? And it is brought to you by our good friends at Mazda.
Well, you know Andy Pettitte gets it going when he goes east and west. As you see that backdoor cutter right there. Now outside with the slider, back inside with the sinker, back away with the cutter. And let's go up the ladder a little bit, but back in. So Andy's got to go on both sides of the plate. And down to get Jennings there on the 5th straight strikeout.
Well, they're going to score that hard hit ball by Upton, a base hit, so that's the first hit allowed by Pettitte. Now, I was talking to Joe Girardi in Detroit, and here is the play. It just ate up Jeter's hit so hard. And Andy's always famous for throwing the cutter, and he said it's not a cutter anymore, it's a slider. But what changed? Did he change the way he throws it? Is it just a normal evolution?
It's normal evolution. It's, you know, cutters and sliders is more pertaining to velocity. You know, they're very similar to begin with, but the difference between a cutter and a slider is just how hard it's thrown and how big the break is. And Andy's slider is probably now down around 80 miles an hour on average through his first 4 or 5 starts, and you know his fastball's been sitting around 87, 88 on average. But his 4-seamer still got a little movement on it too. He may not call it a cut, but those strikeouts away to right-handers have a little action on them at about 87 miles an hour. Even though it's not a true cutter, he's got natural life and sort of a boring cutting action to his fastball.
I guess the best explanation would be a true cutter goes east to west, while a slider has some north-south tilt to it.
It generally could have a little more depth to it, but it's really about extension of your arm and how tight the spin is and what the velocity is. The cutter is just a harder slider.
And it's held the same way?
Generally not. You know, sometimes guys who throw cutters will off seam, sort of off center their 4-seamers. You see, that's a 4-seam grip right there. And the rotation coming out of his hand has a little bit of, left to right spin on it.
There's a strike to Zonas.
You can see that pitch right there at 88 miles an hour is a fastball, but it's got a little action on it. It almost starts off the plate and kind of runs to the outside corner. And you see, that's the 4-seam grip. But how it comes out of his hand and the rotation of those 4 seams, you can see it almost has a little sideways spin on it. Gives it a little movement, a little late life to it.
Nub foul.
A slider would be more of a horseshoe grip, what we call a horseshoe grip, which is more of a breaking ball type of a grip. But a lot of guys, including Mariano Rivera, the best cutter ever thrown, I think, in my opinion, were fastball grips that you just off center a little bit to get your wrist a little bit on the side of the ball.
Upton dancing off first, so Andy throws over. 3-2 count. Does Upton go?
The key with that, Michael, is if you can have a fastball grip and off center it a little bit on the 4 seams, then you can get more extension and throw it with harder velocity and still get some movement out of it. Whereas with a slider or a breaking ball grip, you're going to have a full tweak of the wrist. You're going to really have more wrist snap on a true slider or a curveball, whereas a cutter or an off-centered 4-seamer is going to be just more fingertip pressure.
Three-2. Grounded to third. There's one. On to first. Double play. 5-4-3 double play. 2 quick outs for Andy Pettitte. Time now for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. John Flaherty was a Devil Rays opening day catcher from 98 to 2001. Who was the only other Tampa Bay player to start those 4 opening days? John, I would think you know that one, right?
Well, I'd think about it for a second, but another look at Alex Rodriguez really gets rid of this ball quickly to Robinson Cano, and then the strong arm to get Zobrist by a half a step. A lot of different players run through that team in those 4 years, Mike. I got a pretty good idea, though.
All right. Matsui grounded out to short. That was in the second. Lofted to left field. Ibanez makes the play, and that'll do it. Here in the top of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning, Mark Teixeira is going to lead off against James Shields. State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. John Flaherty was the Devil Rays opening day catcher from 98 to 01. Who was the only other Tampa Bay player to start those 4 opening days?
Is it the crime dog? Freddie McGriff?
Let's see. Yes, it was. Mark Teixeira will lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. High fly ball. Right there is Upton, and he'll make the play for the first out. That was really up there.
Shields starting to settle down a little bit. Nice 1 pitch, 1 out right there for him. Fly ball. Pitch count getting under control.
Here's Ibanez. He got those 2 runs home, but he actually just grounded out the shortstop. Elliott Johnson threw the ball away. Would have been the final out of the 1st inning, but with the bases loaded, Johnson's throw skipped by Carlos Pena, and that allowed 2 runs to score. That's where we are. And the count 2-1.
Shields has made up for lost time in a hurry. 57 pitches here now in the bottom of the 4th after almost 30 in the 1st inning.
3-2. And the payoff. And Ibanez works a walk. Here's Nick Swisher. He struck out looking in the first inning. Strike in the outside corner, 0-1. Shields paying a lot of attention to the 40-year-old Ibanez.
Just watch Shields tonight. I mean, that first inning stepping off a lot, just not looking 100% comfortable with his mechanics. Behind in a lot of counts. Still should be throwing a shutout to this point.
It's weird because as good of a pitcher as James Shields is, he's 1-4 here at the new Yankee Stadium, and he's 5-12 against the Yankees. That's the most career losses that he has against any team. There's a base hit for Swisher. And Ibanez advances to second.
Trying to come in, Molina. The ball runs right down the middle. And that's a mechanical thing, you know, Flash. I know when I threw a lot of pitches like that in my career, you're trying to bust a fastball inside on a lefty, and your shoulder just leaks out. You're a little quick with that front side, and the ball drifts right back to the middle of the plate.
We're listening to Phil Hughes after his complete game against the Tigers. He said he finally got to the point he can drive that fastball in on lefties, and it was a big pitch for him. Opens up the whole outside of the plate after you can do it.
Especially in the American League with the DH. Right-handers must pitch lefties in. Especially in this ballpark at Yankee Stadium. You've got to establish not only that you'll pitch in, but that you can pitch in for strikes. You can hit that catcher's glove on the inside corner. And as Flash said, that just opens up everything else.
Well, Michael, you mentioned Shields' numbers against the Yankees, though, and I think for this reason right here, they lay off the tough pitches. They go up there, they work counts. You know, and Shields with his changeup, it's such a good pitch that he can get a lot of quick outs with that pitch with some weaker lineups. And through the years, the Yankees have made him work, been able to get him deep in ball games and make him pay for some of his mistakes.
Count 3-0. Last two seasons, you see what Shields has done against the Yankees in 7 starts. The rest of Major League Baseball, he's 20-11 with an ERA about a half a run less. And he walked him to load the bases. Pitching coach Jim Hickey done a great job with the staff.
Chavez just gives the Yankees so much depth at the bottom of their order, and Shields pitching him very carefully, knowing that Chavez has got the ability to hit that short porch in a hurry. It shows you the depth of the Yankee lineup.
Russell Martin fouls it off.
You've got Swisher and Chavez batting 7th and 8th, and both of them with some pop. Batting left-handed against the right-handed throwing Shields.
Another bases loaded situation for the Yankees. After the 4-pitch walk to Eric Chavez, Russell Martin trying to go up there and ambush James Shields, and he got a couple of fastballs. Fouled both of them off. Now you start thinking, when's that changeup coming? Possibility of a curveball or a slider.
And the 0-2. Driven out into right center field. That ball is gone. See ya. A grand slam for Russell Martin. And the Yankees lead 6-0.
I think Shields is going to be thinking about this pitch when he's back in his hotel room tonight. Gets ahead 0-2. And he'd thrown Russell Martin 2 fastballs inside, and he tries to go with one out over the plate, and he does not get away with it. Trying to go in, actually, and Molina reaches to the outside part, and Russell Martin showing some good power the other way. And you wonder, where's that changeup or an off-speed pitch? Tried to sneak a fastball by him. It didn't work out.
Jeter slices one the other way. Let's take another look at the Coors Light cold hard blast. 4th career grand slam for Russell Martin. And a primal screen by James Shields.
I'm sure James Shields not happy with the pitch, maybe the selection, but he's also thinking 6 runs. I have a lineup that doesn't score a whole lot of runs. I pretty much knew I had to come in here and shut this Yankee team down. And he could not do it.
Martin, who's been struggling so much offensively, starting to turn it around. Ground ball off of Zobrist, trickles into right field, and Jeter reaches.
Came into this game, the Rays did, with a .977 fielding percentage, 13th in the American League. It's not getting any better tonight. Elliott Johnson made a huge error in the first inning. Now Zobrist at second base.
That's an E4. Pitch to Granderson is inside 1-0.
Well, it just looks to me, Flash, like, Shields has really struggled with his tempo all night long. One delivery is very slow and deliberate. The next one's a little quicker. Rhythm and tempo, probably the most important thing for a pitcher, because everything else, arm slot and wrist position, fall into place with good tempo.
Grounded to Pena. Fires the second one on to first. Not in time. It was the third baseman, Sean Rodriguez, who took the throw from Pena. So you score that a 3-5 force.
Granderson rolls right over. Pena comes in and delivers a strong throw. But Rodriguez back across the diamond, not in time. When you talk about that rhythm, David, I mean, it looked evident right from the first inning, didn't it? I mean, like, he just wasn't comfortable.
Speaking from experience, I did the same thing. I fought myself in tough games a lot of times trying to find that right tempo and rhythm, and sort of a 3-to-1 ratio, sort of a a dance step. 1, 2, 3, 4 is when you release the ball. And Shields almost looking like a 5-to-1 ratio tonight at times. You see him spinning off of the mound, looking down at the mound a lot. And that looks all too familiar to me because I did a lot of that in my career, looking around the mound and trying to fight yourself at times. And, good pitchers can make adjustments on the fly. Shields unable to do that. He did it after this first inning, but got himself into trouble here in the fourth and has paid the price.
Count 1-1 on A-Rod. Walked and scored in the first. Fly ball to right in the third. Jumped up and hit Molina.
Just inside of where the chest protector covers his armpit almost.
One. 2-1.
Just watching Shields fall off to the first base side, he allowed 3 career grand slams. Martin, Jason Nixon, Nick Swisher.
Nix was with the White Sox and Swisher with the A's.
Think back to Shields last year and the year that he was so consistent mechanically. I don't ever remember seeing him be this off balance when he's finishing, really falling towards the first base side.
So the count full. Granderson will move from first with 2 outs. And the payoff. He was off balance, knocked it down, recovers, and gets a rod. But the damage has been done. The Yankees have struggled all year with the bases loaded, but not this time. An 0-2 pitch taken the other way off the bat of Russell Martin. His 4th grand slam and a 6-0 Yankee lead. Thank you, Bob. Right here at 6-0 Yankees, top of the 5th. The Orioles are trying to stop a slide. They started off so well, 3-10 in their last 13. They aren't scoring as much, not pitching as well. And that's a combination that will have you go 3-10. There's a strike to Sean Rodriguez. So Andy Pettitte now has a 6-0 lead after Russell Martin's grand slam. Well, they're Bob and Jack a little bit later on, and on the post game, as well as Meredith Morakovitz.
I saw Jack Curry at the stadium today when I was walking in. Awfully impressed. Goes in and works the clubhouse and then goes up to the studio. I mean, that's like double time.
1-2. Grounded to Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod guns down S-Rod for the first out. Just one hit allowed by Andy Pettit. A hot shot off the glove of Derek Jeter.
Might have to revisit that, Michael. I'm on the mound. We question the score there. You know?
Oh, come on. That was a bullet.
One hopper. Jeter's got that. Tough play, but we'll ask Jeter after the game if he should have had it.
Swing and a miss. So if you're a pitcher and that happens behind you, are you hoping you give up a legitimate line drive hit somewhere?
It'll get interesting here in a couple more innings because Pettit's pitch count's very much under control.
Now you don't have to worry. Base hit for Payne.
Never mind.
Verizon customers who won't have to miss a game again now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Verizon Fios. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $49.99. And if you're a Verizon Fios TV customer with Fios Internet, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Here's Luke Scott. Speaking of no-hitters, Johan Santana with his no-hitter on Friday with a couple of extra days rest. He will start the first game of the Subway Series on Friday. Coming back from a 134 pitch effort.
Yeah, he'll have a couple extra days rest, and rightly so.
Ground ball to Teixeira. Fires the second one. No return.
Nothing new for Mark Teixeira. Comes off the bag, gets himself in good fielding position, goes to his right, down from his knees. The accurate throw. And he was getting back to the bag thinking about a possible return throw. Derek Jeter thinks twice about it.
One thing Teixeira does exceptionally well on these sorts of plays is first make the throw from the knees, and second get back to cover, as you said, Flash. He's excellent at that. Of course, knowing that Andy Pettit, the left-hander, is going to struggle to get over there as a falling off towards third base.
One 1-0 to Molina. Molina struck out his only other time up.
You know, Michael, you mentioned Johan Santana of the Mets throwing the first no-hitter in Mets history. I was over at Citi Field the other night for John Franco, the great left-handed reliever's induction into the Mets Hall of Fame. And the whole organization was buzzing. It's going to create an exciting weekend when the Mets come over here to play the Yankees. We'll see Johan Friday, as Michael said. The Mets a bit of a surprise so far this year.
You were okay with the 134 pitches, right, Dave?
I was fine with it. I'm a big believer in recovery time. You know, giving him a few extra days rest, or even skipping a start for guys, you know, like Johan that have come off surgery, and a lot of emotion into that game as well. Give him a little extra time to recover. I've said this a few times on the air this year, Michael, and interested to get Flash's opinion, but we see Andy too as well. keeping his pitch count under control here. But I'm a big believer in recovery time, and especially with some of the younger pitchers and the way they're protected coming out of the minor leagues. I think you're going to see more of a 6-man rotation going into the future. And guys missing starts or being able to control it that way as opposed to pitch counts and innings pitched.
A walk to Molina. First and second, 2 outs.
Just to finish the point, I think in the future you're going to see how pitchers are handled change dramatically, in my opinion, over the next 10 years. And mainly because of the conditioning of the minor league pitchers. Very rarely do you see minor league starters go more than 5 innings in AAA or AA for that matter. So they're not conditioned to get deep into the games. And I think you're going to have to keep a couple of extra spot starters in the bullpen and maybe a sort of a pseudo 6-man rotation, but a lot more juggling in the future with rotations and protecting young pitchers as they come up out of the minor leagues, especially ones that are under 25 years old.
Here's Elliott Johnson. Do you think it'll ever get to the point that they have in Japan where you're a Tuesday starter, you're a Wednesday starter?
Yeah, I don't know if you get quite to that extreme, but I think we're heading in that direction, definitely. Just because of, as I said, just because of the way, the medical data and the Verducci rules. Tom Verducci came up with the Verducci rules of pitchers under 25 years old and workloads over year, possibly leading to arm injuries. And if you look back to the Mets, we mentioned the Mets and Santana throwing his no-hitter. I still remember a young Doc Gooden at 19 years old throwing 275 innings, and a couple of years later coming up with a shoulder injury. So there's lots of documentation on young pitchers under 25 years old and their workload leading to arm problems. And I think that's why you see all organizations protecting their young prospects now.
0-2 count, and the pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him. Another strikeout for Pettit as he works out of a jam. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We're halfway through. Yankees up 6-0. Robinson Cano will lead off. All-Star game voting. Curtis Granderson showed up. Robinson Cano was there as well. And Cano and Kemp were named captains of the Home Run Derby. So they'll be able to select people on their team. And Matt Joyce from the Rays was there as well. Cano won last year's Home Run Derby in dramatic fashion with his dad pitching. Grounded, past the diving Pena down the right field line. Matsui plays it out there, and Cano will stop at second with a double. Well, this is when you know Robinson Cano's starting to swing the bat better because he keeps this cutter fair.
when Robinson's not going so well, he starts swinging at bad pitches, he hooks that ball foul. To be able to get inside of this pitch, keep it inside the foul line. Pena diving, the Fuji film super shot.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He's 0 for 2, struck out and flied out to center. Shift is on for Teixeira. 3 infielders on the right side. Zobrist out in short right field.
Yeah, this is one of those situations Mark was talking about in spring training. A ground ball the other way is a base hit and an RBI. He decided to go against that philosophy, just trying to pull everything and hook now. And his numbers have improved. 250 with 9 and 32. But this is a freebie. Ground ball to short. RBI base hit. We'll see what he does.
He gave you this line that he had when the Yankees were in Detroit. He said, if people want to see me hit to left field, wait till I come up right-handed. So he has given up completely on trying to take the ball the other way. He said, I am what I am as a hitter.
You know, I wasn't even close to the type of hitter as Ramos getting loose as Mark Teixeira is. But I found one year when I went up there trying to pull everything, I actually hit the ball the other way decent. You know, you're late, you're fooled, and you're able to let it get deep, and it just ends up going the other way. But you're not thinking, you're not forcing it that way. It just happens.
That one is chopped over the middle. The shortstop Johnson fields and fires, and they just get Teixeira as Cano moves to third. So now they had to bring the infield in. They're down 6-0 infield in with Ibanez at the plate.
A productive out nonetheless to advance the runner. Put on Ibanez in an RBI situation.
So they will intentionally walk him. So that brings up Swisher with runners on the corners with 1 out.
A little challenge for Nick Swisher with his 33 RBIs. And all the information that the Rays, every team in baseball has now. Jim Hickey, pitching coach, looking at the binder.
This will be Swisher's 19th time with a man on third and less than 2 outs. He's come through 8 of the times, 44%. Surprisingly, you know, to me, Flash, the league average just 52% in this situation.
Thought it'd be higher.
You really would think that pitchers seem to bear down in these situations. And not as easy as you'd think.
Also, the hitters go up there, you get excited, you know, a free RBI, you're trying to do some damage. You almost have to relax and concentrate on your strike zone a little bit more. Pitcher is in trouble right here. Don't help him out.
Six 6-0 Yankees. First game of a 6-game homestand, 3-game series against the Rays, and then 3 against the Mets. That one is driven down the right field line, giving Chase Matsui. It's going to be off the wall. 1 run scores. Ibanez will stop at third. An RBI double for Swisher. And it's 7-0 Yankees as Swisher foils the strategy.
Once again, Shields gets himself in a bad count, 2-0. And he's got to come in there to Nick Swisher, who was out in front just a little bit. Able to keep it fair. Short hops the wall. Matsui gets it in. But a nice job by Nick Swisher being patient early, getting in a fastball count. When he got it, he made sure he got the bat head out. Drilled it to right field.
Make that 9 for 19 now for Swisher, with men on third base and less than 2 outs. You got to figure the Yankees' fortunes are going to change. We talk a lot about runners in scoring position, all the offensive numbers that seem to be out of character for the Yankees. You got to feel that's going to turn around for them. There's too good of hitters and too deep of a lineup.
David, you almost feel like they'll have a game like this where they score 7, 8, 9 runs and okay, we don't have to talk about it anymore, but then they go back in a little funk again for 4 or 5 days. They're looking for that consistency where it happens day in and day out. Like you said, I agree with you. I think it's only a matter of time.
Oh, 2.
And if you're James Shields out there in this game right now, you're really taking one for the team. You know, you really got to bear down because there's a couple more earned runs out there. You got a chance to suck up 9 earned runs here. Well, not earned, obviously, you had an error, but in the first inning, so the first 2 runs were unearned. But nonetheless, you're trying to get through the 5th inning here, and you're down 7-0. You really got to bear down. Wind is out of the sails at this point for a starting pitcher. Probably going to be his last hitter, or certainly his last inning. You could see just the look on his face. It's, how do I get out of this and get me out of here?
Missed outside, 2-2. Yankees up 7-0. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Looking for their 30th win of the year. They're 29-24. 100 pitches for Shields. And then the count is full at 3-2.
Well, he's been behind all night, and even when he gets ahead of Eric Chavez now, he worked it back to 3-2. The Yankees just not chasing that changeup out of the zone.
James Shields not in the mood for chit chat right now. Trying to make a pitch, get the ball on the ground.
Popped up. Zobrist makes the play for the 2nd out. Now check this out. A couple people on Twitter alerted me to this. Russell Martin hit a grand slam on an 0-2 pitch. So here's a little quiz. Who's the last Yankee to hit a grand slam on an 0-2 pitch? Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. In 2004, John Flaherty against the Rockies goes yard, bases loaded on an 0-2 pitch. That's right.
See, now why would you throw an 0-2 fastball right down the middle?
He crushed it. Grounded foul.
Nice little curtain call there, too. A wave to the crowd. You could almost hear the screams from Pearl River.
Very, very similar at bats too. Russell Martin got 3 fastballs in a row and hit the 3rd one out. I remember that at bat, getting 3 fastballs in a row and missed the first 2. Was able to take care of the 3rd one. That's a young man right there.
1-1. It is amazing, though. While, 8 years ago, David and I have obviously aged in those 8 years. John doesn't like he's aged the year. Might look younger, right, David?
He's eating almonds and apples up here in between innings. I got a brownie and a cup of mud.
The 1-2. 2-2.
Triathlete. He's training for triathlons now. That's how he gets his kicks post-career.
Drowning in the water. It's embarrassing, really.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on the pitch. See, David is not lying. That is actually what John is eating. Almonds and a green apple.
He's turning brown on me, too, in between innings.
Shields has really labored. His defense didn't help him out in the first, and he did not help himself out in the fourth with an 0-2 fastball to Russell Martin. That really changed the complexion of this game. Grounded to short. Elliott Johnson will make the play, and that will do it. But the Yankees get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 6th in the top of the Rays order against Andy Pettit. In center field, the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Desmond Jennings leads off. And the first pitch by Pettit is a strike. Line foul. Sounds like he broke his bat as well. Jennings just off the DL. Missed 21 days with a left knee sprain.
Well, we talked about the Rays struggling offensively this year. You wonder when the Yankees see them next time around with another month or so down in Tampa if Longoria will be back. Keep Jennings healthy. It's going to be a different lineup.
Keppinger, who on opening day batted cleanup for them, he's on the DL. Neiman 60-day DL. Farnsworth 60-day DL. We told you about Longoria. Next series is in Tampa, July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Fouled away.
One thing about Andy Petty, you don't worry about his concentration in a game like this. 7-0. Things are moving along pretty easy for him. You can still see that look of focus.
You know, in some ways, Andy's more efficient than he's ever been in terms of pitch count, his aggressive, sort of attacking style of pitching that he has now. Jennings putting on a pretty good at bat. Andy's averaging 7.1 innings per start this year. In his career, he's only averaged 6.4. He's throwing more first pitch strikes. He's getting more ground balls. He's striking out more guys. And he's walking less. Now, sure, that's a smaller sample size in his 5th start here, but his approach, better than it's ever been.
Count 3-2.
You know, I watch him right now, and I think about a hitter who gives away at bats. You know, you get in a blowout ball game, and maybe you're not 100% intense on an at bat. You never see Andy Pettit give away an at bat or an inning in a game like this.
Strike 3. Desmond Jennings down looking.
He always has that look in his eye like every at bat will be his last one.
Here's that 4-seam fastball, Michael, as you see just a slight little cut action to it. Starts off the plate and just runs right to the outside corner. Dana Demuth says yes. Desmond Jennings doesn't think so.
Upton 1 for 2 tonight. Singled off the glove of Jeter in the 4th. Chopped up the middle. Cano gets Upton for the 2nd out. Pettit has given them length since he unretired. 6 1/3 against Seattle the first start, then 8 against Cincinnati, and 7 in his last 2 starts.
Such a lift for the Yankee rotation because other than Sabathia, the other Yankee starters were having trouble getting past 5 innings.
And there's a strike to Zobrist.
Young pitchers would do well to watch this style, never leaving the rubber, ready to throw pitch after pitch, working fast. Even in between innings, he's the first one to sprint right to the mound to get his warm-ups in, even before the hitter's ready in the on-deck circle. This is how you do it, kids. You stay on the rubber, you work fast, and you get the ball over the plate.
Chop to A-Rod. Fires to first, and a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit as the Rays go down in order. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be the top of the Yankee order as they try to build on a 7-0 lead.
Broadcast brought to you in part by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. By J&R Music and Computer World. And by Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. Beautiful night here in New York City, much better than was forecast. Kids playing outside across the street from the stadium at Heritage Field, the site of the old ballpark. Joe Madden makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So James Shields' night is over, and Cesar Ramos will take over. Those are the numbers. This is his 6th game, and he will face Jeter, Granderson, and A-Rod.
He's doing a great job against righties. They're only hitting .071 against him, as opposed to left-handers .267, so very unusual.
Grounded to first. Pena will beat Jeter to the bag for the first out. Here's Granderson, singled in the first inning, came around to score, grounded to third, and then grounded to first.
17 home runs jump out at you, Flash. But you know, one thing about Granderson this year is he leads the team in walks. 30 walks, which is 6th best in the American League this year as well. That .357 on base percentage to go with those 17 home runs. Granderson does a lot of little things other than just the home runs.
So plays every day in every inning of every game. Very durable. Joe Girardi doesn't have to worry about giving him a day off.
Did a little dance around home plate there. Quick step out, quick step back in. Count 3-1. It's like he's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. Soft ground ball to short. Elliott Johnson. 2 outs. And here's Alex Rodriguez. Walked and scored in the first, flied out to right in the third, and back to the mound in the fourth. Count 1-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, it's been all Yankees, 7-0, 2 runs in the first unearned, 4 in the fourth, a Russell Martin grand slam, and then an RBI single or double by Swisher in the 5th. Rough night for Molina. That got his left arm, it seems like.
Take another look. Alex Rodriguez with the big swing, and the bat comes back and gets him on the tip of the elbow there. On the way back. Ooh.
One, 1-2.
You can see how Ramos is successful against lefties and righties. An electric fastball, 93, but it really jumps when it gets to home plate. Alex Rodriguez late on a few of them. Nice smooth delivery, and the ball jumps out of his hand.
Swing and a miss. So Ramos works a 1-2-3 6th inning. We'll go to the 7th. Hideki Matsui against Andy Pettit will start it off. Nissan dealer. It's all Yankees. 7-7-0, beating 0-2-2. Russell Martin with a grand slam. James Shields did not pitch that well, and Andy Pettit has done a great job posting zeros through the first 6. He has 8 strikeouts, and he's thrown 89 pitches. And he'll face his former teammate, Hideki Matsui. Cadillac scoreboard 7-0. Couple of injury updates. Brett Gardner in extended spring training had 5 at-bats. And take a day off, get another 5, and there is an outside possibility that he could return by the weekend, but in all likelihood, it will probably be in the series in Atlanta. And the other one that many are worried about, David Robertson threw a 35-pitch bullpen session, and he went full bore, he said, in the bullpen today. Then he will probably face live hitters on Thursday, and then they will send him out for a rehab assignment. And don't look for him much more before 8 or 9 days from now, because that's a process with a pitcher. You have to build back your arm strength and pitch against live pitching in a game situation. So that's the latest update on those two.
2 pretty important pieces too.
2-2. Popped up. Mark Teixeira will make the play in foul territory for the first out. All right, let's take a look at the results to the Toyota text poll. Here was the question: which is the tougher division? You've been texting us at 42951. The results are in. Here's how you voted. Almost a landslide. American League East 69%, National League East 31%. Off the end of the bat, squibbed out to Teixeira. He steps on the bag to retire Sean Rodriguez for the second out. Now, in case there's rain, they have Put a little rain jacket on Hideki Matsui. He's been great with that. Well, during the national anthem, he faced cardboard Hideki out toward the flag. He's doing everything right.
He's even got the credentials.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case.
And Hideki has rewarded him with an 0 for 3 tonight. Here's Carlos Pena. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. Pettis just throwing strikes out there.
You look at his whole ball game, it's been the same theme. First pitch curveball for a strike, cutter for a strike. On top of his game, he made a few mistakes his last outing in Anaheim, not tonight.
And once again, he's given the Yankees length. Cody Epley warming for the Yanks.
Elias Bureau gave us an interesting note on Andy Pettitte. He wins tonight's game, he will have won exactly 50% of his career starts. He's won 241 of his 483 career starts. Looking at straight up 50% win percentage of his total starts.
Swing and a miss. What an impressive 7 innings for Andy Pettitte. He's talking himself, but how could it be anything but positive as the Yankees are winning 7-0? And as we prepare to stretch here in the 7th inning, we will also stay here to honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean.
We'll talk to Bob and Jack and Meredith later on after the game, right here in the bottom of the 7th inning on the Cadillac scoreboard. Yankees 7 and Tampa Bay nothing. Andy Pettitte pitching a shutout, a 2-hit shutout through 7 innings. And Cano will lead it off against Ramos in his 2nd inning of work. Cano is 2 for 3.
Robbie's going to need a new bat, and this is, this is where you'd really, if you're the Yankees, like to see Cano improve. He struggled against left-handed pitching this year, just hitting 197 coming into this game. 14 for 71 with just 1 homer. So he breaks his bat on the first pitch inside off the plate. And it really comes down to getting good pitches to hit for Robinson against lefties. He's obviously a very aggressive hitter. He doesn't strike out a lot. He doesn't walk a lot. But you still have to get good pitches to hit, and it seems like this year he's been a little over-aggressive against left-handed pitching.
Count 0-2.
Yeah, those numbers are startling because in the past you wouldn't even blink an eye when they brought a left-hander in to face Robinson Cano. Freddie Garcia again, his gun hot with Cody Epley.
The 1-2. Still 1-2. Larry Rothschild checking in with Mike Harkey in the bullpen. Did it get him? First, the home plate umpire checked with Doug Eddings. Did he go around? He said no, he did not. So Robinson Cano will take first, hit by a pitch.
And Molina having a tough night behind the plate, too. Foul tips. Alex Rodriguez hits him with a bat. Take another look at this. It looked like an off-speed pitch. 84 gets Cano and Molina 2 for 1.
So Cano's on first after being hit by a pitch. Jose Molina with a black and blue night. Ground ball to short. There's no one. The throw could not be handled by Zobrist. Third error by the Rays. Joe Madden cannot be too pleased with what he's seeing.
I mentioned 977 fielding percentage coming in. It's not going to get any better tonight. A little flip with the glove out of the reach of Zobrist. You're thinking double play if you're Ramos the pitcher. Can't even get an out.
It looked like Johnson looked like he fooled Zobrist, like he took a false step, like he was going to take it himself, and then opted for the flip with the glove.
Still waiting on the official scoring as Jim Hickey goes out and talks with Ramos. This copper-headed telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Well, the error is on the board, but we're not sure who they gave it to. We're assuming it's the shortstop. There's a strike. Oh, and 2. They're going to give the error to the second baseman Zobrist, so never assume anything.
That should be changed.
Yeah.
The 0-2.
Even if Zobrist makes this play, he's pulled off the bag probably.
And the 1-2. Ibanez is down swinging for the first out of the 7th.
Well, in the first inning, thought it was going to be the end of the inning for Shields. Johnson makes a throwing error, and then Zobrist at second base can't come up with a ground ball. And then just recently, again, Zobrist gets the error, but a bad feed from the shortstop Johnson. Joe Madden looking on, a team that is built around pitching and defense. Defense has not been very good early on.
7-0 Yankees, first and second, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Swisher's had a good night, 2 for 3. Struck out looking in the first inning. Singled and scored in the 4th. RBI double after Ibanez was intentionally walked in front of him. That came in the 5th. Yankees scored 2 in the first on the play that John just showed you, the ground ball by Ibanez, 2 unearned runs. 4 in the 4th on the grand slam by Martin. 1 in the 5th on the double by Swisher. Threatening for more here in the 7th. Broken bat. Popped up. Pena is there. He'll make the play for the second out. Check out tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Get Verizon Fios for the internet that can handle everything you do online, no matter how many devices you use. Alex Cobb will go for the Tampa Bay Rays, 2-1, 3.71. Ivan Nova, the ERA is high, but he does win. He's 6-2. Our coverage begins at 6 with the BP show. 6:30 is the pregame show, and right around 7:07 will be first pitch. So Andrew Jones is going to pinch hit for Eric Chavez. Chavez was 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And a strike. Told you earlier, it seems like Ramos has more success against righties this year than he does lefties. And we'll see how Jones fares against him.
And a good first pitch. Andrew Jones coming off the bench. A big curveball for a strike kind of gets Andrew on his heels a little bit. We mentioned that sneaky fastball. Smooth delivery.
Another off-speed pitch, count 0-2.
Yeah, that's tough right there if you're Andrew Jones. Back-to-back curveballs. That one a little bit more backdoor for a strike.
Very slow, too. I mean, 70 miles an hour. Ramos's fastball has been up to 94 as well. So big variation between fastball and slow curve.
And the 0-2. Fly ball left field. Jennings is there, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 8th inning. Luke Scott will lead off. Who will be on the mound? Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. 8th inning and bottom of the order against Andy Pettitte, starting off with Luke Scott. Scott 0 for 2 against Andy. Count 0-1.
Familiar theme, Flash. You see the scoreboard brought to you by Hyundai. Just 2 hits for Pettitte, but just 68 strikes, 32 balls, and curveballs on the first pitch at will for strikes all night long.
Another strike.
Just assuming here Luke Scott might be his last hitter. Freddie Garcia ready to go in the bullpen. Molina on deck, a right-hander. You see that look of intensity again. Can never tell if it's 7-0 or a 1-1 ball game with Andy Pettitte.
Check swing. Luke Scott sporting that Wolverine beard.
Andy Pettitte, you know, when you're pitching well, you can push the team rules on facial hair.
Swing and a miss. Scott down on strikes. '14th career 10 strikeout game, the most he's had this year, and his 11th with the Yankees last time, 2010 against Toronto. That's the last out he's going to get. Joe Girardi is going to the bullpen, and you'll hear the big hand for Andy.
Presents Center Stage with Michael Kay. The always animated Sweet Lou looks back on its storied career, including his tenure in pinstripes and nearly 50 years around baseball. It's a new Center Stage tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, only on Yes.
So Andy Pettitte goes 7 1/3 inning. He strikes out 10 and turns it over to Freddie Garcia. And Garcia deals outside to Molina. 7 1/3, 103 pitches, 2 hits, one of them off the glove of Jeter, and 2 walks. He really was outstanding. Let me ask both you guys, has he exceeded what you thought he could be after laying off for a year?
Well, you know, personally, he left on top of the game. You see Garcia's numbers on the year there.
Base hit for Molina.
You know, Andy was pitching this well back in 2010 when he left. Even though he had a little bit of an injury problem that year, didn't have a full year, but his approach is so ultra aggressive now. in some ways, he's better than he's ever been. He doesn't have the velocity that he once had, or maybe the sharp break on that cut fastball that broke so many bats over the course of his career. But
Elliott Johnson with a deep drive to right, but in front of the warning track, Swisher makes the play for the second out.
But Andy Pettitte is mixing his pitches better than he ever has. It's east to west, it's in and out, it's curveballs for strikes, it's changeups. He's no longer relying on that cut fastball that was his signature pitch all those years. Andy Pettitte more efficient than he's ever been.
I just didn't know, sitting out a full year, if you can come back and regain that. You know, I mean, obviously he left throwing the ball well, but a year is a long time to be away from it and just get back. And, you know, I think the best thing that he did was taking his time getting back, getting his legs underneath him, didn't rush. And every time out there, it gives you 7+.
Garcia has been on the shelf for a while. He's not on the DL. His last appearance was May 21st against Kansas City. So good opportunity for Girardi to get him in there. And there's a strike, 1-2.
Well, the high strike right there from Dana Demuth, home plate umpire. Big 12-6 curveball up in the zone. Freddie Garcia gets the call.
Rough night for Joe Madden, coming off a 2-4 homestand. There's a base hit to right field off the bat of Jennings. Molina stops at second. B.J. Upton. Top of the 8th inning, 7-0 Yankees lead. You see how tough it is for Garcia with command being out 2 weeks, and Andy has command being out a full year. Driven out to right field. Swisher will make the play for the final out of the 8th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Russell Martin is going to lead it off in the bottom of the inning. #2951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Andy Pettit. I'll stop there. Now, Russell Martin, Robinson Cano, or Nick Swisher. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply.
A big granny for Russell Martin, you know, with his struggles this year too as well. That was a backbreaker for Shields. 0-2 pitch up and out over the plate that Martin drilled to right center. Got him over the Mendoza line too. 2 for 3 tonight. Now batting 205.
Hyundai scoreboard 7-0 Yankees. Yankees come off a road trip where they were 6-3. They took 3 in a row against Oakland. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels. Then they took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers in Detroit. One and 2.
Playing well after another off day. It's been a trend this year.
Missed outside, 2-2. Lined into center field, and Upton can't make the play. Lucky it didn't get by him, and Russell Martin picks up his 3rd hit. So he was 6 for 19 on the road trip, and now he's 3 for 4 tonight.
You can see the confidence in his face right now. 3 hits tonight. The grand slam. Stays on a changeup. Drives it right back up the middle. Getting over that Mendoza line. That's a big deal for a hitter over that 200 mark.
Catching some breaks as well. The short hop earlier in the year, that ball's caught. Sounds like a cliche, but you know, sometimes it's really true for hitters. You know, you catch a couple of breaks, all of a sudden you start to feel better about your swing, get some confidence going.
One and one.
Major League Baseball had their annual amateur draft recently, yesterday and the day before, and a lot of big changes in the rules and the pools of money now allotted to each team. We talk about the Rays and how they built up this franchise through #1 picks, Matt Moore, David Price, Evan Longoria. You know, being able to build through the draft is probably going to be very much compromised from here on out, because teams are limited with how much money they can spend on the draft now. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out for a lot of these small market teams that were able to use the draft.
Lined into center field, and Upton will make the play for the first out. Yankees first pick, the 30th overall in the first round, was Ty Hensley. Santa Fe High School in Edmond, Oklahoma. And although he's posing with a bat, he is a pitcher. 10-0, 1.52 in his senior season. 111 strikeouts and 55 1/3 innings pitched. 2012 Gatorade Oklahoma Player of the Year. And although he was selected 30th, I believe, in Baseball America, he was listed as a 23rd best prospect available in the draft.
You love his size, 6'4", what did I say, 220? Nice build for a pitcher.
Count 2-0.
That was one of the concessions just to finish that point in the last collective bargaining agreement. The Players Association and the owners got together and changed the rules on the amateur draft. So the days of the $8 and $10 million deals and major league contracts are a thing of the past for amateur players. A lot of agents, including Scott Boras, are not happy about these changes. And even some of the small markets are questioning, the theory behind limiting the pools of money that each team can spend. Kansas City Royals are a prime example. Last year they drafted a guy named Bubba Starling that Tom Osborne, the great coach of Nebraska, said was the best high school quarterback he'd ever seen. And would have started at the University of Nebraska as a freshman, and the Royals were able to entice him with an $8 million signing bonus. That's just not going to happen anymore. And, a lot of the small market teams are not happy about that.
2-2.
We will see. Stay tuned. But a much different outlook on the amateur draft now for both agents and amateur players, as well as small market teams.
And we've seen all the major sports do it now, where the players that are actually voting for the collective bargaining agreement figure that the less money spent on the youngsters coming in, the more money spent on them, the veterans. So the 2-2. Strike three. Granderson down looking for the second out.
Curtis Granderson gets caught looking here. Down and away. I'd say Dana DeMuth has had a pitcher's zone tonight.
He has, and the thing about Dana DeMuth is, as we said earlier in this game, he's a veteran guy. He's the crew chief, but very approachable. You can talk to him, as opposed to sort of the run-in that the Yankees had with Bob Davidson earlier in the previous road trip. Kevin Long being thrown out of the game over one comment. Dana DeMuth, a great reputation for running a game and actually holding some conversations. If you do it the right way, Flash, which you know as a catcher, you can have that interaction with an umpire, especially a home plate umpire.
A-Rod fouls it off. Alex tonight is 0 for 3 with a walk. Foul back, count 2-2.
Ramos doing a great job here of eating up some innings. Now pitched 45 pitches total. He's been impressive. Just 8 innings so far on the year coming in.
Strike three. Alex down looking. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. 9th inning coming up. 3, 4, and 5 for the Rays. Will try to catch up. Lorenz and Jack Curry are back in the studio with a wrap-up of tonight's matchup and a look around baseball. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz has the players' reaction and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame, and it's only on Yes. And Ben Zobrist leads off against Freddie Garcia. 1-0. Got a couple of defensive changes. Jason Nix takes over at second for Robinson Cano, and Dwayne Wise for Ibanez out in left. Now, Girardi makes the Wise-Ibanez switch in most games that the Yankees have a lead. But you wonder what's up with taking Cano out. Remember, he got hit by a pitch his last time up. It's just strange not to see him in there. We'll find out in the postgame why Girardi made that move. Off-speed pitch, 1-2.
Think of all the people in the Rays lineup. Obviously, other than the injuries, this is the guy they really want to see get going. You see him there with a 204 average. Zobrist is capable of so much more. He's always had a good eye, among the league leaders in walks every year. Switch hitter with power. Struggled so far this year.
Right in on the hands, and it's popped up. Teixeira looking for the seats, and he makes the play. If you just joined us, or where you've been, the story of this game was Andy Pettit. Outstanding 7 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, just 2 hits. One of them could have been called an error off the glove of Derek Jeter. He really was outstanding. And a couple more outs, he goes to 3-2 in his return to Major League Baseball. Here's Hideki Matsui. 1-0. Russell Martin, who's starting to swing the bat a lot better, had a grand slam in the 4th inning, and that kind of broke the game open against James Shields.
Well, it's just the way the Yankees wanted to do it after an off day. Hideki Matsui coming back to the Bronx. Andy Pettit getting it done. Nice start to the series. Good clean game. The Rays have been a little sloppy defensively.
Matsui had a good pitch to hit right there. You know, he's thinking about it. He's got the flair for the dramatic. He'd love nothing more than to try to hit this ball into the seats, and it's a hanging curveball, and he just pulls off of it a little bit. You could tell by the look on his face that that was the one he needed.
Swing and a miss. A rough night for Matsui. He's 0 for 4. And they'll be back again tomorrow. He had the supporting cast tonight. A lot of his fans here. Got a nice hand when he came to the plate. Just didn't get it done. Freddie Garcia will get it done as Sean Rodriguez lofts it to Granderson, and the Yankees win 7-0. A complete game for the Yankees from top to bottom. They've got hitting, they had some defense. Russell Martin's bat has come alive, and Andy Pettit was outstanding. 7 1/3 shutout innings, and Freddie Garcia with an inning and 2/3 of scoreless ball closes it out. So the Yankees start their homestand with a victory. And you have to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. We're going to come back. We have an award to give out. We'll wrap things up, and remember the postgame after that with Meredith and Jack and Bob Lorenzo. Keep it right here. Good night for the Yankees in the Bronx as they beat Tampa Bay 7-0.